go over and take a look at the garden, show you what I got done. This is all being done for grass seed. So, it's in the morning here. Hopefully I have no interruptions. This is horseradish root, a chamomile. I decided to put in a pot. Jean picked me up a bunch of marigolds. I have cosmos and zinnias. I had to replant some more zinnias a few times because of dogs. I still have my leeks over there. They're starting to become root bounds, and I have to get them planted in. And then I just have odds and ends of things. I did a lot of basil by seed. Lots of things by seed. So very quickly. The ground here is very rocky, and your seeds won't germinate if there's rocks. This is a Kentucky whiskey barrel, and I have an OS cross cabbage in here. It initially didn't look good, but it's doing okay now. There's some leaves falling from the tree here, but it worked. I was going to say, I'm using this area as an extra spot to plant. But between all the dogs running through here, I planted a butternut squash in the front. Well, that's promising. And then in the back, I did a buttercup squash. I'm not seeing any of that yet, but that's positive. And then this is the wood rack that Thomas wasn't going to put away. So I had this extra white thing to the fence on it. And oh my gosh, I see zucchini. I really thought it wasn't going to work out. See, I'm not going to pick out the weeds because I want to wait. I did zucchini here, and I do zucchini on this side. This side over here, I highly doubt this is it. I'm pretty sure that's a weed. Oh, there we go. Bingo, got one. I planted blue Hubbard squash, and I have a video coming out on meat squash that I grew last year. Stay tuned for that. That's remarkable. So in the back here, I didn't even get around to doing the seeds yet, but I want to plant some Emma Gardner meat squash back there. So I will come by and pick up all the leaves. So I'm using the trellises over here for some extra room for extra squashes and zucchini. So hopefully what I planted in this barrel, this one here, I was going to plant carrots. Right now I'm just using it for a place to germinate some zucchinis. Again, it's very rocky soil. I'm a really good gardener, but I'm just not a magician. So in the middle I did a Hostel zucchini. It's like yellow and white, like summer squash. I did Coco Zella right there, and I did green zucchini back there because that's all they really want. So I am hoping, because this is potting soil, even though there was a puppy here all weekend, it was pretty huge, and got in here. Hopefully these germinate, and then I'll take them out and transplant them. And then I have some kohlrabi there. I don't know if it's going to stay there because, like I said initially, I was going to do 2 barrels for cabbage. And then I decided I'm going to do 1. I planted 3 seeds outside. All 3 germinated. Going with 1. I was going to do carrots and Mel likes beets. So I don't know. Bear with me with that. So yeah, that's why I'm back here. I just hit the pause button and I went and I grabbed 3 meat squash seeds right there. And I tried to free it from any debris. And I'm just going over it. You're not on my tripod. Seed with a little bit of water. I actually put these in the sun yesterday. They're already pretty dry. It came out of meat squash yesterday. And I keep not getting to that. So let me grab a little bit of just some finer soil, and then we'll go into the garden. And I'm just going to go over the seeds with some potting soil. I might need to get a little bit more. And I grab some water and just put some water in on those zucchinis so that they germinate. Okay, and then I'll remove anything that looks big so it doesn't obstruct the seed. Give it a little pat down. I'm going to go over it with a little bit more water. And then I'm going to take this bigger piece of cardboard and try to protect it from the dogs. I'm going to put that there. I'm going to put this piece right here. I'm going to wet it a little bit. It's just my little trick. And hopefully that will be up in a few days to like a week. I'll bring you back for an update on that. So let me put the lid on my little water bottle here. I think pretty sure that this is a weed. So I'll pull that out. Okay. So now I just got meat squash. So in the front here is blue Hubbard squash, and in the back will be meat squash. So, did I get everything done in a weekend? I did. Welcome to the garden, my friends. There is like a little gate opening right here. I usually just throw my leg over. I still have some things lying around in here, but did I technically get it all done in a weekend? I did. So, cucumbers, I'll do a video where we're in here and I'll go through all the names of things. And now I see some digging, so that's unfortunate. Cucumbers, zucchini. I'm going to plant some more zucchini. I was going to plant more zucchini. I'm going to put one there, but these two popped up, so. And I'm already noticing a slight little problem. I'll get into it. So, this leaf is chewed off. It's the first thing I noticed. 2 cucumber seeds finally germinated. My beans finally just came up. But look what I see. Digging of some sort. See this? Digging up the bean plant. I thought I just saw the seeds, so this is unfortunate. Something is getting in here. I don't know if it's a squirrel or what it is, but I've been waiting and waiting and waiting. Oh, dug that one right up. I've been waiting and waiting and waiting for the beans to come up. It's been like a week. I did all this in a weekend, and I was just getting very impatient. And it looks like part of that leaf was taken off. So I'm going to try to spread this back down. And the odd thing is he has one of those. He said he had a mole or something last year or the year before. And something's getting in here. So I'm going to try to push this one back down, hopefully without breaking it. I'm just going to tuck it a little bit. I'll fix that in a hot minute. So anyway, so that's unfortunate. I just noticed that as soon as I came in here. I do have an eye for things. So there's part of the bean that's eaten off. And it already has buku amount of rocks in this garden and weeds in this garden. I'm a good gardener, but I can't do anything about all the rocks. He said he was putting topsoil in here, and he thinks if you get it from a store, that doesn't mean anything. Topsoil has rocks in it. So that would explain all this rockiness going on. So just to play it safe, because it's going to mess up my square foot, and you can see my shadow. Sorry, the sun's out. It's going to mess up my square foot gardening that I did with the beans. So I might come in today and after this video and add a few more beans to that area, and maybe right here there's a bean there that's coming up. So I don't know. I'm going to have to keep an eye on whatever's getting in here, because the reason why I say that. Okay, so that's the bean patch. Oh, sorry, I had a bean in my hand. Let me remove the rock and try to put this bean that was just germinating right there. And I'll give this some water to fix that. Okay, so sorry for the interruption, but I spotted that, and I got to deal with it. So cucumbers, Did I say this already? I planted a lot of seed in here and a lot did not germinate, and it's probably due to the factor of all the rocks. And I told him he's got buku amount of weeds, so we're going to do shredded hardwood. So the beans and celery can be planted together, so that's the celery. Back here is eggplants, and I'm missing an eggplant right here, and I'll tell you why, because there's the stem, if you can see that, but something came in here and ate the whole top off of the eggplant. So now that I see that was done to the beans, this was done first. And something bit off one of the leaves on this zucchini plant. So zucchini patch, I have a nasturtium right there. Apparently, I just saw this somewhere. If you plant nasturtium in with your zucchini and let it vine around it, it helps with the bugs. So why not? So eggplants, Black Beauty, Rosa Bianca, that's the one that they bit off. And then I have peppers and celery with the beans. I put my square foot gardening skills to work in this garden for sure, trying to fit it all. A full row of basil I planted in. These are all the tomatoes. I have a tomato I have to plant because right here was a tomato plant. It was I think a Better Boy, and it was so yellow, and I just left it, and it just didn't do good. I gave it like a week and it didn't do anything, so I pulled it out. And this is a Kellogg's breakfast that I put in there, and there's an extra Kellogg's breakfast down there. Quite a few at the end are Kellogg's breakfasts, but I'll get into all the names, things like that, on a later video. This pepper plant here, I'm trying to keep a close eye on because it just still isn't looking the best. So I don't know. I put amendments with this soil, and I don't know. We'll have to see what happens with this little pepper plant right there, but the rest are looking pretty good. I was taking the blooms off while they were in the house, but once they start blooming outside, I leave it. And I also never take the tops off of my pepper plants. If you want to see how my peppers did in previous videos, you can go back and look at that. They get taller than me, and I get buku amount of peppers. So all different types of peppers right here. This is a mistake that I did right here. All this stuff is planted this way. So I have a longer cabbage back there and some seeds, sunflower, red acre cabbage. I have a row of Walla Walla onions that the birds were picking out for quite a few days, and now it looks like they finally left it alone. And then another row of Walla Walla onions. OS Cross, I think that is. No. That's wrong. This one here is Emerald Cross. It's a faster type of cabbage. These are longer. I did plant a whole row of nasturtiums, but there's a lot of weeds coming up. You can see that. So if they pop up, I'm just going to transplant them out. And then snowball cauliflower and broccoli. I hope the broccoli does what it has to do, because I put the broccoli in, then I planted the tomatoes and the peppers in the square foot gardening style. And broccoli does not make a good companion plant to tomatoes or peppers. So hopefully the broccoli, does what it's supposed to do and can come out before it affects the peppers or the tomatoes. But weeds. So yeah, this is what I've gotten done thus far. Like I said, it's a long day cabbage back there. Let's see if I can walk through the rows. Give you an up closer look. Cabbage is looking pretty good. This is just like a best cabbage. It's longer day, like 75. Again, this is red acre cabbage. It's going to be interesting trying to walk. I have a Thai basil from out of my Arrow garden. It really had a hard time adjusting out here, but it's there. And if you know, Thai basil attracts a lot of bees. And I have mint because it's good to be near cabbage. And then this is the OS Cross. All this in between. Sorry, this is the Walla Walla onions. But all this in between is weeding already. Hardwood mulch, most definitely. Probably about 4 bags to mulch in here. Cauliflower. A lot of things were looking really, really yellow. So I've been putting coffee grinds in the garden. But technically, did I get it all done? Even that's the weekend that I got really bad sunburn that ended up turning into sun poisoning. So this is all looking pretty good. There was a lot of yellowing, like I said, on a lot of things. I've been adding my coffee grinds, and I've been using bone meal and blood meal and my Epsoma organic fertilizer to try to help in here. So hopefully that pepper does okay. I have a couple more sticks here because I'm single stemming the tomatoes. These two are tied up already, the rest are not. And yeah, so I did get the garden all done. I just have to, I want to put another zucchini plant in here, and over there is like calendula, sunflower. I did some cosmos, some red and purple zinnias. They're all coming up. And I planted like a jack-o'-lantern. No, it's some kind of funny name. Marigold, we'll see. I can't put a tomato plant here until it comes up unless I just dig it up. And I have to still get that tomato in the ground. But that's okay because I grew all them. And that one that I had to pull out that was so yellow and it was just dying, it was getting worse, I just planted a Kellogg's breakfast in that spot in place of it. But so far the tomatoes are looking better, and the little flower section's coming up because you need flowers in order to make things germinate. So I figured I would put it near the zucchini patch, and this required a lot of square foot gardening skills to get all this to fit. So there's where they used to come in at, but you could see all the rocks. I just throw my leg over. And it goes right to cucumbers that I will trellis when they get bigger. Then the bush beans, celery, the eggplants, peppers, all the tomatoes, broccoli, cauliflower, onions, a lot of cabbages. And yeah, that's what I've gotten done thus far, which is a lot. Like I said, I did it all on a Saturday and a Sunday, and whew, Sunday was burnt to a crisp. So that's the garden so far, my friends. I'm not going to edit this video. I'm just going to put a little jingle with it and get it up and or get it out there for you, because I've recorded this like twice, multiple interruptions, and just says what it is. Marigolds. I have a bunch of marigolds. Jean picked me up from the greenhouse, so I'm going to incorporate them in here. And I'm going to add more beans. I'm probably going to extend it out to probably about here, where that line is. And hopefully, whatever it is, stops coming in here and digging or biting off the top. Now, I do have a baby eggplant, but it's a baby still. Maybe, I mean, I've been having it outside to harden it off, but that was a decent size eggplant and bit the whole top off and just left a little stem. So stay tuned for more gardening videos, and I'll come in and tell you all the names of the pepper plants that I grew, and which ones Jean bought or I bought. Same with the tomatoes, cabbage and all that. I'll give you like names of everything. And yeah, but that's a little disappointing to see. So yeah, got to keep my eyes open for sure. Might want to put a wind chime over here to maybe scare off, but I think it might be a squirrel. That's the only thing that I see around here, because if you see, this is completely, aren't these cute? Squirrel moment. Literally. It's completely privacy fenced in, and their dogs are crazy. So I'm pretty sure the only thing that can get away with getting into the yard is probably a squirrel. So I'll try to deal with it. But that's the garden. That's where I'm at thus far. So let me get out of here, and I'll stand back and let you take a look. This area right here, Jean pulled out 2 of my chairs and the cushions. Area for me to sit. That's the barrels and everything that I was just telling you about. Over here I did some sunflowers right there and there and there, and I have all these things here to plant. And now these leaves are falling from the tree. So yeah, that gives me this area near the garden to be able to sit if I like. And then of course there's this area which I just swept again and threw all the leaves that fell in the fire pit. That's where I did Sunday Night Live, right from there. And yeah, so making major progress. Jean bought, I'm assuming it's some type of purple broccoli, and as soon as she bought it, it went to seed. These are my leeks. I did this, but I have to get in the garden, try to fit them somewhere because they're becoming root bound. And zinnias, well, I had to plant zinnias twice because of the dogs. You'll probably hear a lot of complaining out of me about big dogs. This is why, because they step on things. But yeah, there's zinnias and flowers in here. These I have to plant. This is the chamomile I put in a pot. There's my lemon balm. Stay tuned because we're going to do a harvest on lemon balm. There is the horseradish root, the thyme, St. John's worts, looking gorgeous. There's my mint. This is comfrey from Pam, which was looking all right. It's not looking too good now. It grew up inside my bee balm. More lemon balm, mint, and that's Thai basil. So a lot of the things got planted that way and a lot of things got planted this way, just to try to make it fit, and other things I'm putting into pots. But here you go, in case anybody wants to see what I used them in their soil. Blood meal, and this is bone meal, and my Epsoma organic fertilizer, some black cow, and my good old trusty square foot gardening. I've never really had to use this. I've always just made a graph in the dirt, but I used it a lot this time around. More basil. So that's my video. There's the garden. And stay tuned. Like I said, I have to harvest lemon balm because I want to cut it back so it regrows. And I have a whiskey barrel out there, which is out front, loaded with oregano. And I stole a piece out of my whiskey barrel out there and planted it over there, which is another area for me to sit. I'll show you. Jean brought my bistro table from my niece over. So there's my mint. I did all this. There's my beautiful petunias, bubblegum petunias from Pam. There's Miss Jean's. This is the herb garden already, looking fantastic. This pot I put, this one is a husky red cherry tomato and a sun sugar tomato. I have a basil in there, and I'm just letting these lettuces get situated. Here's another little tomato plant because I have a big pot right there I'm probably going to do for the chickens of all greens. Stay tuned for my video on mine, but here is the bistro table, and I spray painted the chairs a brighter blue. So, gives you another area to sit besides up there. So, love you all. Tell me what you think about the garden. And yeah, that's where I'm at. And now I just have to watch from critters chewing things up. And stay tuned for the green stalk update. But love you all. Like, subscribe. If you're new here, think about subscribing. Won't cost you anything. Love to have you. Leave a comment, thumbs up, and I'll talk to you soon, friends. Bye-bye.